podcast. I'm recording on Halloween, so I'm just looking at my bedroom window now. What I can only describe as an inferno of sorts, blazing outside on the beach. There's about 70. I count. It's hard to count from here, but there's a lot of youths around. Gather around it, just acting the maggot, you know. Occasionally they're Fortnite dancing and taking Instagrams or whatever they're up to. And even closer to me, so I'm looking at them across probably 40 meters away from me right now, and about 10 meters away from me, just out my window, there's another gang of youths, gang of them. I couldn't even number them because there's no light there. I can just see a huddled mass of parka jackets and super dry North Face especially, and they are singing Wonderwall by Oasis over and over again. It's an easy song to do for a long period of time because it's essentially the same verse, chorus, verse, chorus. I mean, you don't sing the bridge really; it's just kind of like a bit of guitar. But like, anyway, they are just doing that over and over again, and I think, but like fair play, they're enjoying it. But it looks at it because they look happy. But like, do you not know any other songs? Is that it? Wonderwall. Anyway, yeah. So if you hear fireworks or verses of Noel Gallagher and masterpiece Wonderwall going, like firework just there, and that's a beautiful, that's a beauty. But anyway, that is Halloween in North Dublin, which is a lovely spot by all means. Anyway, this nondescript podcast without a name is. I'm just checking my Twitter. That's a very cynical comment, Des. You know what I mean. You'll know when you listen to this. That's a cynical comment. Anyway, everyone else, you can probably scroll through my Facebook and try to find a post with a cynical comment by some geezer called Des Cook. His profile picture looks like he's in the Beatles or something like that. Anyway, so this podcast has a purpose. Well, part one does anyway. There will be multiple parts, but I won't spoil too much. The first part is my gym routine, what I do in the gym, less so how I motivate myself in the gym. And oh, what's that? That's I can hear you saying thinking. I can hear you thinking. Oh, here we go. The subtle flex. Yeah, it is a flex. Well, if you pardon the pun, it is a flex. No, but it's not really because I'm not posting pictures on my Instagram of me being shredded and just massive muscles. I am labouring over the treadmill for 30 minutes at a time in a 14-15 Inter Milan away jersey that I got on holidays in Italy, and I am sweating after 10 minutes. My heart beats at 200 beats per minute, this on the treadmill, which is just completely insane for a 19-year-old human to have a heartbeat of 200 after 15 minutes on the treadmill. But yeah, so I mainly use 3 different machines in the gym. I can't use the weights as well, but that's for a different day. It's the rowing machine, the cycling machine, I guess, spin bike, bicycle, pedal machine, and the treadmill. And I'll probably start with the cycling machine because this is the least. Bear in mind, all these are very strange things that go in my head. Because, and again, when I say this to people and they go, "That's really weird," it feeds into the narrative that everyone else is just a projection in my reality. And that when I'm not there, they're not doing anything. They're just kind of, they don't even exist. Everyone exists. Your entire purpose, whoever's listening to this, is to be a listener of this podcast. That just is. I'm not fully convinced of it, but it feeds into it when I hear this stuff because I don't believe people are as normal as they say they are. But anyway, when I'm on the bicycle, which is bicycle machine, I actually enjoy that one a lot because you're sitting down and I can have my phone in front of me as well. So when I have my phone in front of me, I can kind of distract myself. But it's very careful not to distract yourself too much because then you'll just go down to whatever 6 kilometers an hour and just be half arsing it. You have to keep it up You have to keep it up. I think it's above. I can't remember the number now, but it's above a certain number where I'm like, ah, that kind of hurts. Keep it above there. Um. So yeah, when I'm on there, generally I'm trying to distract myself as much as possible. A lot of times, I'll go back to a memory of me and a bicycle. One of the most vivid ones is sometimes I pretend I'm Indiana Jones running away from the boulder, but I'm on a bicycle and the boulder is going even faster, so it actually is keeps up. I don't know why I do that. The other one as well is when one time we were having a race down a gravelly hill, and this is actually a great day of my childhood. There was a few people on go karts, a few people on bicycles, and we all raced down this gravelly hill. And there was about 6 people piled on top of this go kart. I don't remember anyone's names though. There was about 6 people on the one go kart. Now, here's the stupid thing about being a kid. 4 of them were on one side alone. So you had one guy sitting in the middle, and you had 4 guys leaning on the left-hand side of one, and then just one guy sitting on the other side. I'm like, I don't know, no one copped like before you got on. I was like, hey guys, this is not good for balance, you know. If you want to go fast, you want to like evenal payload pressure on all 4 tires. Like you're not gonna be going as fast as possible. But sure, look at we're 9 years old and retarded. So, and I was on a bicycle, and a few other people were on a bicycle, and there's another go kart as well. And I was not in the lead, but I was in the front pack, and all of a sudden I hear, "Ah," and it just the go kart, predictably enough, flipped onto its side as soon as it went over a little bump. It was a gravel hill, and in my mind, it was one of those moments where I went third person and I could just see what was going on behind me, even though I was looking forward, and I could see like people flying into the air and the go kart doing flips, and I was like, I need to get out of here. So I went as hard as I could, I pedaled as hard as I could, and I actually won it because I was afraid that I was going to be killed by debris from this go kart. And then I kind of turn around, heartbeat like, oh my god, expecting to see like blood and carnage and broken arms and backs, and people would be paralyzed for life. And they were all just kind of on the floor laughing. But that motivated me to beat Ronan McNally, and I came first. But it wasn't even a competition really, it was just a big piss off race down the hill. Isn't there a firework? So sometimes I imagine, yeah, there's a massive explosion, or there's something going on behind me and I have to get away from it, and I'm cycling as hard as I can. I used to think about the Tour de France, that I was in the Tour de France in one of the final stages, but then I realised everyone else is taking drugs, so no matter how hard I try, I'm going to lose. So I don't know how that works, but my mind was like, no, it doesn't work. Yeah, so I said bicycle isn't that weird compared to treadmill is weird. These are getting more strange as I go up, so wait till I get to a row machine, because that one's odd. But on the treadmill, I am running, and the first bit, it's, yeah, I can feel I just kind of keep my legs straight, trying to make sure I'm not landing hard on my heels, and I'm sitting in my chair running right now with my legs and my arms tucked in. I don't know what it looks like to the people out the window. But yeah, and my room's on the ground floor as well, so I make eye contact people walking their dog when I'm sat at my desk. Just there, someone's walking by. They haven't noticed me, but I was watching them. Anyway, so I'm running at the first few, and then I get up to pace. And the other thing as well is I'm hyperly competitive with other people. I'll do best when someone else thinks they're better than me, and I might not beat them, but I'll give them a good showing. Alright? So, and the way it is in DCU gym is there's loads of treadmills next to each other, and if it's busy, you can't do like the thing where you just like have a cushion of an empty one either side. So you're next to people inevitably, and I don't like going next to like old people because there's no competition, or people just walking or on Instagram. So I'll go next to people who are wearing like their county jersey or something like that, and I'll get on there and I'll get going. And in my mind, I think these guys just think you're gonna walk now. They just, because I'm walking for the first 2 minutes or something like that. And you're just here to walk. That's what they're all thinking. It's like, let me show them. So I hike up the speed, Um, I don't know if it's kilometers per hour or just like 1 to 20. I've never checked that, but when I put it up, like is 10 kilometers an hour, or is it just 10 speed? Is it just speed 10? I don't know, but I get it up nice and high to where I'm struggling, where I am in pain. My legs are really sore, but I have my earphones in, and it's normally playing the most mundane music. I mean, I've listened to a lot of bluegrass music, and I think I'll put a little clip in here. Yeah, you get what that sounds like anyway. Just it's not. That's what I like to think as well. I like to think when I listen to music, I'm like, nobody else is listening to this right now. Maybe in this radius of like 10 kilometers, there's nobody else listening to bluegrass music. I mean, some people might go, oh yeah, if they hear it, they might like that, but not many people seek it out to listen to. But I do, and I listen to that when I'm running in the gym, and the tempo might not even be that high. It might be this old guy just singing about how much he misses playing in the cornfields or something like that. And there might be a slow fiddle, but like, and those songs I like because I can hear, even though they're noise cancelling, when there's not a lot of instruments going on, I can hear the sound of the treadmill. And a lot of the time, especially when I get up to speed and go maybe like 13 or 14, I can just it just sounds like doo, 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 doo. It just sounds like somebody's trying to break it with a hammer, and it's just my whatever 190-pound body just slamming down and over again, as I look like, I don't know what I look like. I think sometimes I think that I look like someone who's just out of prison or just new to society and they're not really sure how to do things. Like maybe someone who just goes, "Oh, I guess everyone does this running thing, so I guess I'll try that." And I think you just run as fast as you can for as long as you can. But I kind of do think that, so yeah, that's food for thought. Anyway, this is just a rubbish podcast so far. But anyway, I'm on the treadmill, listening to bluegrass music, running, and I'll get up to 13, and then all of a sudden, this happened a good few times when I get lightheaded and stuff like that, and we're approaching like the 30-minute mark. If I've gone like 4 kilometers, I'm or 5 kilometers even. I go lightheaded, and that's where you're supposed to stop. But that's when my actual endorphins kick in, where actually like I feel like a champion. So I go lightheaded, and sometimes I close my eyes for a little bit, and then I'm terrified I'm gonna fall off. So I force myself to open them. But then I imagine myself as like a primordial human, like an early human, on the plains of Africa, who is running down like a deer or an antelope or something like that. Because that's how humans were developed for. That's why so many humans can run, is because we evolved to sweat, so we can just outrun most other animals. I mean, like, yeah, lion are fast, but how long can a lion win? How long can a lion run for? I mean, we've got like big arses and legs and stuff like that, and we can kind of swing our body. This is just me like doing bro biology in my head now. We could swing our body, we could sweat, and we're tall as well, so we can like see in front of us. So this is like what we're made for, and that's when I really start actually enjoy what I do. But by that stage, it's too late. Like a certain amount of it is mind over, a lot of it is mind over matter. But there is some things where it's like your body is just not capable of doing it. And I'll just get to the stage where I'm wheezing and panting, and I can feel eyes looking at me now at this stage as well. This is about 35 minutes in, and my aim is always to get to 30 minutes or 5 kilometers, whichever comes last. So if I go 5 kilometers and it's only 27 minutes, I'll keep going to 30 minutes. But then after that, I'm like, okay, let's just see. This is just like the bonus round, okay? Like this is like, I'm just gonna see how long go for a point builder, yeah. So I just go, and then eventually it gets to the stage where my water is empty, or I go, this happened. I go to pick up my water out of the holster, and I just squeeze it aggressively hard, and I get a load of it in my mouth, like too much, and then I nearly spit it out, but I managed to catch it in my mouth, and I'm still sprinting along at like 14, wherever it is, and then I go for it again, and I just squeeze it aggressively hard again, and it goes like all over my face, and I try to play it off like I was just cooling myself off, but it's in my eyes now, and I have to do the thing where you plant your hand either side of you, and you just jump, and you come back down again like the star formation with your legs wide and land on the thing, and then you look down beneath you, and I'm so lightheaded at this stage, and I just see the thing flying underneath me. I'm just like, oh yes, that was me merely seconds ago moving at that speed. Most of the time, then I collapse, essentially collapse on top of the treadmill, just kind of fall over it, trying to get air to my brain, and then I think I know everyone's still looking at me because like this guy's about to pass out now, but I managed to get myself up straight again, hobble over to the. My legs aren't actually that bad at that stage. Managed to kind of stride over to the paper towels and spray down the entire machine because I've just been covered in sweat and I just collapsed on it when I finished, and it's just I could see there's a film of sweat all over like the panels and everything like that. And yeah, that's how. So when I'm an African, I'm a early human on the plains of the Serengeti chasing antelope for the last. It's like they only last 60 seconds, but it's like a dream state. Like my body, like at that stage, I can't feel my body, and it's just like it's just moving to keep me from falling over, and my brain is completely somewhere else. I'd like to see a video of myself doing that just to see what I look like. Yeah. Anyway, so that you think that's weird? Hold on. That was kind of strange. This one about the row machine is oddly specific that it's been creeping me out for a while now. So, the row machine is probably my favorite one because you get like your arms and your legs, and when you're pulling the thing, it gets like when you push it, when you go all the way back in again, it lets out a lot of cold air into your face when you get close. So I like that, and you can go for a while. Of course, the basic one is you're rowing in a boat and you're just pulling your oar. And at the beginning, yeah, it's like that. I'm like, yeah, I better keep it above whatever 28 strokes per minute because I don't want to be lazy and I want to actually have a purpose here. And I'm doing that, and then it gets more specific. I am in the movie The Social Network, and I'm one of the Winklevoss twins. Yeah, two big blonde guys played by Arnie Hammer. Whew, pulled that name out of absolutely nowhere. But anyway, Armie Hammer, and their rowing regatta where they actually lose. So I don't know why I'm them because they lose. But yeah, that's in my head, and in front of me I see Armie Hammer, and in my own eyes I know I'm Armie Hammer as well. So I can kind of see myself and look at my own eyes at the same time. Very strange. This is really out there. Now here comes the kicker. This is when I'm got about 15 minutes in. So I do normally all these for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes each. The row machine I normally do first. Now this is very strange. So I hope you're sitting down for this. I am rowing in a boat. Surprise. But excuse me, not just any boat. It's a Roman Trireme. Yes, ancient Roman boat, core of their navy. And it's not like a small boat, it's a big boat. It's huge. And they have sails, but they really use oars a lot because it's not always wind, and especially if you're in a battle, you need to be able to get around pronto. So they have these massive oars that come at either side, and there's rows and rows and rows of them. There might be 3 decks all with oars on them. And so there could be 40 oars altogether, massive ones. Like it takes 4 people to pull them. So you probably see it in your head. They're downstairs in the ship, all lined up on benches, and they're typically slaves. Now in this scenario, I am a slave. I am a North African slave from Libya, modern Libya, probably a Moor, Moor, not Moore, not like some Irish lad called Moor. No, I'm a North African dark-skinned slave. I don't speak English and I don't speak Latin. I speak a language I don't know, but I'm able to understand what everyone around me is saying. But they're not saying much because we're slaves, and there's a battle going on, and we're in the ship in the battle. And when you're downstairs, you can't see much. All you're getting told is, so I can hear the screaming, shouting upstairs, but it's Roman soldiers, so they're all speaking Latin. I don't know if it's going good or if it's going bad. All I know is that shit's going down up there. And not only is it my life that I'm saving, but it's all of my other North African slaves friends as well. So we are rowing about as hard as you could, and there's a man who's walking around. He's also North African, but he speaks Latin, and he's one of the slave drivers, and he's a big whip, and he's walking up and down. He's whipping some people, and every time he whips them, I pull a little harder, because I don't want to get whipped. And actually, this is funny. I know the sensation of being whipped. I say I know it. I have been whipped, not by a massive leather whip that a slave driver in the Second Punic War era would use. I have one time we were sitting. Me and my brother were playing PlayStation 2 in our old house, and we were both shirtless, and I was sitting at the front, and I ended up killing him in Halo or something like that. Something stupid happened in the game, and oh no, we were both playing Halo together on the campaign. I died, and he turned around and he went, "Austin, what?" No, I turned around. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he goes, "Oh my god," and I just think nothing of it. I'm like, "Oh, yep, sometimes you die. Alright, we'll just go back to the checkpoint, whatever." And I saw in the corner of my eye him pulling out a controller, the micro USB controller thing, the cable from the PlayStation. I didn't think anything of it, and I just heard him muttering under his breath back there. He goes, "Oh my fucking, oh my god!" And I was just like, "Yeah, sure." I'm kind of angry we died too, but sure, we got all morning to play. And then what happens next is I hear him go, and then he just on my back. He pulled out the cable straight. I'm actually holding one right now, and it's giving me PTSD. He pulled out, and it was a long one. It might have been 1.5 meters, and he got the full crack at it. And he held it by the micro USB part, and he for all dragged way back and forward. So the big fat USB part smacked my back, and it was like, oh my god. It was one of the worst sensations I've ever experienced. I mean, it was so bad for a second that it was like an outer body experience. It was like in GTA when you die and you go, pshh, wasted. I just kind of felt my whole thing go, ooh. And then the pain started. I was like, oh my god. And I'm in shock. I'm literally in shock from this because I had no idea what just happened. I had no idea, like nothing. I just felt immense pain. And then as I'm wheeling around to see what's going on behind me, I see him again, pulled back, ready to hit me again with the wire. And as I'm looking behind over my shoulder, he just comes down and it gets me right on top of the shoulder. Oh my god. Oh my god. You would not believe. So that's the motivation that that's the memory that drives the concept of being whipped as a North African slave in a Roman Trireme in battle in the Second Punic War era. And then for the final part of the exercise, I hear lots of shouting and screaming, clamoring and all that upstairs, and I just think, oh Jesus fuck, it's about to happen. And I hear screams upstairs, the commander screaming, and then I hear a scream from my slave driver who speaks both Latin and Moorish, and he screams to me in Moorish, "Charge!" So we are ramming speed. So we're about to ram our boat into another boat. So we want to get as much speed as possible so we can hopefully just clean him right in half. Now, not only as the fear of the whip coming to get me, the fear of being charged by another enemy, but also, I don't know how to describe it, but I want to be able to look at me and be proud of what I did, which involves smashing another ship in two through the sheer power of my rowing along with my other North African slave buddies. And then I get myself above 40 rows per minute, and I'm just strokes per minute. And at this stage, I'm again, my earphones are in full blast. Like, I'm not actually listening to anything. The music is going, but I don't. It's just noise, and all I can hear is the shouting and screaming of the battle, the waves crashing against the side of the boat, and the air coming out of the machine. It actually sounds kind of like the waves, so I guess where that comes from. And we get ourselves to speed for like 40 strokes per minute, and it's just, oh my god, and I'm in serious pain, and I'm exhaling heavily, I'm sweating heavily. And every so often I'm doing this, I'll catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I'll be like, what are you doing? For about 10 seconds. and I'll kind of slow down a bit, and then I'll kind of look away, and I'll just hear again in North African, ramming speed, and then I could right back in the zone again. And then as it comes to work out, the final stroke, which is like on the hour, is the moment of victory where we just clean it right in half, and that's how I motivate myself. And actually, I did this the first time I did this. I was probably too aggressive because when I got up and I zoned out and I came out of the historical life that I just emerged from, I realized my rowing machine was about 2 meters behind everyone else's. I'd been pulling my own body weight. I'd been pulling so hard that my own body weight had just shifted the actual entire machine back, and I was blocking access to a part of the gym. But the thing was, of whatever testosterone was found, I didn't even feel embarrassed. I was just like, yeah, deal with it. Yeah, I'm a badass. That's how good I am at rowing. So I kind of just nonchalantly just push it back into place and let the people out, and I was just like, yeah, sure, look it, shit happens. Okay, that is part 1. Part 2 is coming up, but first, I'm gonna play a bit of music. Yeah, we're gonna play some music. Of course I'll edit this down so I'll get it. I'm thinking Phil Collins. Yeah, Phil Collins. Arguably his greatest song. Yeah, this is his greatest song.
How can I just let you walk away? Just let you leave without a trace. When I stand here taking every breath with you. Ooh, you're the only one who really knew me at all. How can you just walk away from me when all I can do is watch you leave? 'Cause we've shared the laughter and the pain, and even shared the tears. You're the only one who really knew me at all. So take a look at me now. There's just an empty space. There's nothing left here to remind me. Just a memory of your face. Oh, take a look at me now. There's just an empty space. And you coming back to me is against the odds. And that's what I've got to face. I wish I could just make you turn around and see me cry. There's so much I need to say to you, so many reasons why. You're the only one who really knew me at all. So take a look at me now. Well, there's just an empty space, and there's nothing left here to remind me. Just a memory of your face. Now take a look at me now. 'Cause there's just an empty space. But to wait for you is all I can do, and that's what I've gotta face. Take a good look at me now. 'Cause I'll still be standing here, and you coming back to me is against all odds. It's the chance I've gotta take. Take a look at me now.
So there we go. But Phil Collins, take a look at me now. It's actually not called. It's called Against All Odds. That song, which surprises most people. By most people, I'm referring to myself when I first heard that song. Anyway, yeah, I've been going through a big Phil Collins stint lately, so I just wanted to subjugate you to that lot. Update on the viewings of outside my window. The youths, they've seemed to dispersed. The fire is still going. It's not even, what time is it? Yeah, it's not even that late. I mean, like, shaking my head. Stay them. Terrible. But that fire is still certainly going. I mean, imagine the waves will probably do a jobby on that now soon enough. But until then, it's smouldering out there. And it's actually this is at the level now where it's good for cooking. I don't know what you'd cook over a bonfire of that size. But it'd be decent now. You get, imagine the heat off that. Anyway, that's terrible radio talk. In the meantime, I've cracked a lovely can Bavaria. Because, it's Halloween. Yeah, that's my reason for drinking alone. I have to edit that now. That was disgraceful. Oh no, what's that? There's a golden rule where anytime you say you have to edit something, you can't edit something. I remember hearing that. Right, this is woeful radio. This is gone. Okay. So, seeing as it is Halloween, thought I'd share with you some spooky stories. I don't have many. A lot of people have whatever, easily can memorize scary stories. I can't really memorize them. I can't memorize riddles either, or decent jokes. But I was actually discussing this particular one during the week with a family member, and she kind of refresh the details. So I'll do it now while it's fresh. I don't know if I want to expose people's names in this podcast, but just go with my just make up names I'm bound to forget, or I'll roll with it. Let's see what happens. So. This story happens about 10, 12 years ago. My cousins have just bought a house in England. They've been living over in England, but they're looking to get into this area of Brighton. It's very exclusive. It's not exclusive. It's just hard to get land and homes there because they're really nice houses, and a lot of times they pass them down in wills to their children. Now, they've been looking for ages, and they kind of almost given up. They're thinking, okay, well, we probably will move somewhere else in England because Brighton is really hard to get a nice house. But they found out one went up for auction because the person who lived it had no next of kin. It went to a state auction, I guess. Like the government kind of owned it. They're like, here, we better flog this gaff. And they're like, okay, well, they kind of went on half-heartedly. They're like, I don't know if we'll even get it because this is so hyperly competitive for people to get houses in this area. They went along anyway to this auction, and the house came up, and nobody else was interested in buying the house. Nobody. This room of hundreds of people at a property auction, and like these people aren't homeowners, they're property developers, or they're buying and selling houses. So these are rich people, and nobody bid apart from them. So they got it for super cheap. Which again is kind of weird. But they get this really nice house on the cheap because nobody. It's a big auction. It's one of the big ones in Brighton, and like no one showed up. Well, people were there. No one cared about this house that has always been really hard to get a home in. They show up anyway. I think I've just fucked with the recording there by accidentally clicking that. But listen, I'll play on. They get to this house, and my uncle goes to view it, and they never, cause they'd already bought it when they first showed up. They're like, we know the area, this house is there, pretty similar, like it's in a good neighborhood, it's safe, there's great schools, it's like great amenities, this is like the perfect place for us to live. And they show up, my uncle shows up by himself to collect the keys, and they're walking around, and as soon as they get outside, the house is like decrepit, like the garden is being like overgrown, and there's rubbish, and there's a broken glass house with all the paint's broken in it pretty much, and there's just shite everywhere. Not like rubbish, it's just completely like neglected for it must have been years. But because there's an old guy who was living in it by himself, and he had no family or anything like that, so it's just him living inside. So my uncle was like, okay, well, the garden's a kip, but sure, look at like we can fix all that, but this house is still a steal. So even after putting all this money to doing the garden up and the exterior walls and stuff like that, we'll still come out on top. They get inside, and the house is pristine. Like, and the guy who was showing up, the guy who whatever works for the state agency, was just like he was shocked as my uncle was, because he was like we didn't send anyone around to clean. The house was immaculate. Like, it was an old house, but like there was no dust anywhere. There was like, it was empty. There wasn't any furniture, but it was like all, there's no broken tiles, nothing creaked in the floorboards or anything like that. It was just like, and it was amazing. They're not expecting this at all. So they're like, wow, this is really good. Like this, like we don't need to do any work renovating it. It's all, it's kind of old style, so I might like do up the kitchen or something like that. But it was very clean. There was, you wouldn't think it by the outside, but yeah, I mean there was only his room, the guy who died, his room, which was furnished, because he rarely left it. It was like his room, a little bit of the kitchen there was kind of dirty, but the rest of the house was just empty. There was nothing there. So they look around the house and they go to the toilet upstairs. The upstairs toilet is the one he used when he was there, because the other toilet again was immaculate. This one was, it wasn't in bad shape, it just wasn't perfect. This is the weird, this is where it starts being weird. The door only had one handle, and it was on the outside. So if you wanted to go in, you push down the handle, you pull the door back, you go in. You can't, if it closes from the outside, you can't open it from the inside. It's like the handle was missing. There was nothing there. It was solid wood, and it only worked on one side. That was weird. That was very strange. And my uncle, he's a smart guy. He's not like into ghosts. He doesn't believe in demons or anything like that. But he was freaked out. He wasn't freaked out. He was alarmed about it. He was like, that's strange. Along with the house being very clean and stuff like that. They got to his bedroom. And I should remember this correctly. Yeah. They got to his bedroom. The door wouldn't open. It wasn't locked. They had the key, but it wouldn't open. They tried pushing it to show us like that. Everything showed up just kicking it down. It wouldn't open. They were like, oh, okay, that's weird. It must just be stiff. So anyway, he got the keys. Had a general look around, and then he went home. And then next week, whatever, they started to move in. And then when they were moving in, we got, it was, I think at the time it was just my auntie, my uncle, and my cousin, who's about my age, a little bit younger, and they got to pick their rooms. And my cousin, she was like, I want that room, and it was the room that was door wouldn't open. And my uncle was like, oh yeah, that's grand. It's like, and he tried to open it again, he couldn't get it, and this time he really put his back on it, he still couldn't open it. So it's like, that's really weird. It was on the second floor. So they went around, my uncle got a ladder, went up, climbed the ladder, managed to like jam the sliding door to the balcony. It was locked, but he had a key for the outside. So he managed to open the lock on the door, which hadn't been used. It was as stiff, like it was really really stiff, but he managed to like, barely muscle it open and kind of just slip his frame inside. He got into the door. The room was in a kip, like it was a state of it. And like the bed hadn't been made or changed in years. And there was just ashtrays everywhere and everything like that. And he got up to the door, and the door was nailed shut from the inside. The door had been nailed shut, and there was about 40 nails all along the top part and the side part and the bottom part. It was nailed to the floor, to the frame, It couldn't be opened. Nails shut. About 40 nails, he said. My uncle is freaking out, but he's keeping it together because he was just kind of he didn't want to scare like my auntie or my cousin. So he was like, "Yeah, that's grand." It's like, "Oh yeah, Libby, like this room needs to be cleaned, but sure, the next few days we'll get it cleaned up, and then you can move in there." I just exposed my cousin anyway. So the next day, my cousin's at school and my auntie's at work. My uncle's at home all day, and he eventually goes in there, pulls off the door frame, pulls out like all the nails like that, gets it off, and goes back clean the room. He said it was like one of the most disgusting places he ever seen. The medicine cabinet was full of razor blades. Full. There was like 70, 80 razor blades, like just loose in the cabinet. That was the other thing that was weird. Okay, so that all happens, and they're there for a few weeks. And after a few weeks, it's like, yeah, the house is clean, but we want to do it up, because all the other houses are quite a well-off area. So all the other houses got like conservatories out the back and extensions and new kitchens. So every time they talk about it, weird things happen. Every time they talk about doing up the house, that night, weird things happen. The oven got stuck up with like the you couldn't you couldn't pull the door down to open the oven. It was stuck, and eventually the oven was on first of all, so I had to go out and cut the gas and like that. They couldn't open it again. Eventually they got a new oven in, and they my uncle was trying to tear it apart to see what it caught, and he couldn't find anything. He couldn't even open it. It was like an old stove one. Oh, I completely forgot about this. My cousin, who was sleeping in the room that the guy used to own it lived in, who actually died in that bed. Died in the bed. And not the same bed, but in the same part of the room. And she used to talk about the old man she was friends with, who would talk to her about the stories and talk to her about her teddies. Yeah, an old man. And she was probably 5 years old, maybe. She didn't realise this was weird. That there was an old man, always not on her bed, but standing at the door with his back to the door of the room, who would talk to her about her teddies and talk to her about this book she liked and stuff like that, and going to the movies and what she did that day. Oh, bear in mind that my uncle didn't tell my auntie or my cousin about any weird shit that happened when they were there, like about like the door or the oven. He was like, oh, they knew about the oven. He was like, oh yeah, it's grand. It's just we need a new oven in. Any of the weird shit, like the toilet with the only open on one side. Didn't tell him anything about that. Didn't say the guy died in the room that Libby was in. Didn't tell him anything about that. And yet she was talking with this old man, and then it went on every time they talked about like doing up the kitchen or renovating or adding a floor or something like that. Weird shit would happen. It climaxed when my uncle was on the couch one night watching television, and he said something to this tune of, "This place just needs to be completely done up altogether," on the phone to his friend, and all three vases in different parts of the room fell down at the exact same time. Well, not together, but like one on the mantelpiece, one above the television, and one in the corner by the door. And they put the house in the market. I think it was the next day, cause they just knew like this is my auntie. I don't think my auntie knows about this now, because she's quite superstitious apparently. If you tell the story to my dad, he will cry. That's interesting about my dad. He's not scared of whatever guys come to the house with guns or or being murdered. Demons scare him, and I can kind of understand that, because I can't defend myself against a demon. If a demon comes for me, it has free license to just fuck with me in any way it sees it wants to. So I can kind of see where that comes from. I have one more. I have a few more ghost stories that are very vague. One of them's kind of long-winded, and it just scared the shit out of me. But I might save it for another one. If you like that, if you like that one, hit me up. I'll tell you the next one next week. And you know what? After that spooky story, which I'm kind of, I don't know, I've got a bit pale, I reckon, I'm going to play some more music. And I think I am going to play a bit of the Smiths. bit of the Smiths. Barbarism begins at home. I mean, I really like the Smiths, but when you think about that, Johnny Marr wrote some of his most famous songs, the guitar riffs, when he was 17, and he just kept them locked away because he thought they were rubbish. It wasn't until Morrissey heard them that he was like, these are really good, and these are going to be some of the biggest songs in their career. Like, I can't even begin to name, but there's most of their decent songs, if you recognise them, were Johnny Marr in his bedroom when he was 17 messing around with a guitar. So, although I love them, I think that song Barbarism Begins at Home is probably one of my favourite songs ever. Definitely top 10. It's a lot of layering intricacy, the bass, even the way it continues, and Marcy's vocals, his just nonsense guttering, just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Layers, it doesn't take away from the guitar at all, I feel. It really improves it. So, 45 minutes. I've kind of ran out of topics, so this is just the last 15 now. We're gonna have nice cozy chats. No, it's not gonna be cozy. It's gonna be me with audacious opinions about current affairs. Here's a go. You'll like this one. So I'm sure you've all heard about Leicester City's chairman and owner who died in a helicopter crash outside of his stadium there during the week. I word that carefully because I have no idea how to say his name. I mean, I don't want to mock or belittle someone who died such tragic circumstances, but like, Jesus. I mean, it literally, he couldn't get an Irish passport. He couldn't. There is a character limit. You couldn't, like, gee, alright. Anyway, the one upshot, actually, there's one upshot, is that I finally got to hear someone attempt to pronounce his name out loud. Because I've seen it before a few times, especially when Leicester won the title. Every time the camera would pan to the stadium, there he is, the owner of Leicester City. That was an old-timey New York. The owner of Leicester City, a chairman there. They would just refer to him as the chairman or the owner of the club. I've never heard him. So here you go. Here's a rare one for you. I'm going to pronounce this. Vice Srivadhanaprava. Savita Halapanava. His name is longer. His last name is longer than Salita Halapanava's entire name. That puts context for you. I mean, it's easily 20 characters, letters, 25 altogether, I reckon, at least. But yeah, no one's talking about this either. What a cool way to die. Lifting off in a helicopter, your own helicopter, from the middle of your football club stadium. Yeah. I mean, compare that to how, I don't know, Stan Kroenke will die. Probably just 130 plugged into a machine that's doing everything to keep him alive. I mean, yeah, it's sad for his family and people who support Leicester. But, like, yeah, what a way to go. A burning inferno from your private helicopter crashing outside of your football club, taking off in the middle of the park. I wonder, did he do that regularly? Was that a regular thing? That he would take off in the middle of the football pitch? I don't know, I've never seen that before. But I suppose in a city like Leicester, might be a good spot for it, you know, nice open space. Well, might not be a good spot, his helicopter did crash. But, I mean, there might be the only place with a bit of space. I imagine he's not slumming it in a council estate in Leicester, so I reckon he's probably off in some estate or somewhere. Not estate, but palatial estate, you know? Yeah, so there's that. That might get me kicked off the internet for saying that death by helicopter crash inside your football stadium is a cool way to die. It's not a cool way. If you had to die, maybe. What else am I seeing here? Let me just scroll. Oh, Movember coming up. Contrary to popular belief, I will be attempting Movember. Just to my status as a prepubescent male, might not be anything impressive. But in solidarity, I will be growing out the mustache of my Red Dead Redemption character for the entire month of November. And let's see how long we can get it. I'm at 5 right now because I wanted a bit of a backup just in case it was slow going. So I have a sizable mustache, but my character's a sizable mustache right now. And I'm keeping the cheeks shaved and keeping the chin shaved, just the mustache, you know. I would describe him as, let me just get a confirmation on this, Burt Reynolds maybe. Let's see what he looks like. Images. Oh, bigger than Burt Reynolds. Oh, bigger than Burt Reynolds. Who has a big mustache? Big mustache celebrity. Maybe. No, I just typed big mustache celeb Troiy and I got no results on Google. Wow, that's a hard thing to do. This is actually not a bad game if you just try and find something. Oh my god, this is chronic here. I'm looking at Michael Cera with a mustache. You definitely should not. I'm looking at. Oh, okay, I'd say it's probably similar to Price is Right, Miss Universe guy. I don't know. I'm just lucky. I can't get over it. The name of this website is um, mustachemanstyle.com, and the website's called, or the web address is top 10 mustaches in African American history. I have to click this now. mochamanstyle.com / black mustaches / November 2014 / top 10 mustaches in African American history / wow, what a website. Little Richard, apparently the inventor of rock and roll, is not a great mustache. It's very thin. It's just on the upper lip. There's a small gap in the middle. Steve Harvey, that is an iconic face. Wow. He's a beautiful man. And who else we got here? Eric Holder. He was the Attorney General under Bush. His face looks crooked, but his mustache, it's not bad. Okay, Gordon Parks. Okay, I need to confirm that I am not a racist person. Google right now. Google Gordon Parks images. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna have to cut that out because that was blatantly racist. To say he looked exactly like Morgan Freeman, but in this picture I'm looking at, very similar. Oh my god. Walter and Wallace Scott from the Whispers, R&B singers. You gotta look at these guys too. I'm gonna make a show notes, put some of these images, cause these guys. Oh my god, I cannot imagine the amount of women they got. Oh my god. I sorry. I was pretty lost in their steely gaze. Demond Wilson, actor. That's not particular. Frederick Douglass. Yeah, that's alright. Ted Lang from Isaac from Love Boat. He is a very nice looking mustache. And he's got a big. I'll have to link this image as well. He's got a brilliant smile there, and he's just loving life. He's got the hair, he's got the fro, all natural. Big up my man Ted Lang, cause you do you, bro. I've no idea what happened there, or where I started. Yeah, right. Oh, November. Yeah. So, unfortunately, I can't do November. I would like to. I'm going to Google now after this how to grow a mustache quick, which I imagine is pretty hot right now. But it just looks just not nice. I would say my mustache is no, it's not good. I'm just on Pinterest now, looking at pictures of Borat mainly. Wow, there's some serious mustache. Oh, here it is, the real G, the Colonel Sanders. Let me just talk about the Colonel Sanders because he's one of my favorite figures in modern history. I mean, when did he die? He died in 1980, but he was born in 1890. So, I have no doubt in my mind that his dad owned a slave at some stage. There is just, yeah, definitely happened. 1860s, 50s. Okay, his granddaddy was definitely a slave. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, there's 100%. I mean, wow, he was born. He lived a long time, 90 years. And oh my, guys, they say you shouldn't meet your heroes. I just read here that the Colonel Sanders is from Henryville, Indiana. He died in Louisville, Kentucky. But when did he move there? I have to do some more research. Okay, he moved there as a child. Okay, never mind that last remark. He's got his signatures. It's weak. To be honest, I expected more from you, Colonel. He went to La Salle Extension University. Oh, this is just rubbish. Yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up here. Oh, just so it's coming on the hour mark. I'm gonna close it out with a song, but quickly, I have a thought here. If you'd like this, I am saying this for the first time ever out loud, but I have written a few short stories. I don't know how long they would be if I read them out. I think I'd probably fudge them pretty quickly. They might only be like 15, 10, 20 minutes. But if you'd like to hear them, let me know. And I'll give you the titles of two. Title of the first one is... I don't know if I want to give you titles. Okay, the title of the first one is Redneck Redemption. And the title of the second one is... I don't really have a proper title. Like, I'm only in my first draft. Like, I've finished it, but like, it needs to be gone back again. But I'm gonna... Okay, it's the title of the second story is The Commuters Republic of North County Dublin. They're the two titles. But I'm gonna finish it out with a song. A great song. The best song. No, not the best song. A great song though, no doubt. Bit of The Police.
Just a castaway, an island lost at sea. Another lonely day, no one here but me. More loneliness any man could bear. Rescue me before I fall into despair. I'll send an SOS to the world. I'll send an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets my message in a bottle, yeah. Message in a bottle, yeah. A year has passed since I wrote my note. I should have known this right from the start. Only hope can keep me together. Love can mend your life, but love can break your heart. and